I want to show you something beautiful.
Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer Saturdays Review, episode 95, I believe this is. I have two movies to review for you. I'm going to start with this one first. This one is On the Beach, 1959. Came out, produced and directed by Stanley Kramer. And it stars Gregory Peck, Ava Gardner, Fred Astaire, Anthony Perkins, and it's basically takes place after a global nuclear war. Okay, and you have the Gregory Peck plays a commander of a Navy vessel, a nuclear vessel. What's his name? Commander Dwight Lyle Towers, who's commander of U.S. Sawfish. Okay, and they're heading. They were actually in the middle of a mission when basically when the war started. Basically when the nuclear war started. So they were basically on their way. They were basically made their way down to Australia, and they hear about the war. And Fred Astaire plays like a scientist type that they run into, and basically this movie is about the after effects. The world is it takes place in this Australian town, and Gregory Peck's him and his Navy ship, they come sailing in, and basically the rest of the world has been exposed to nuclear radiation, and there's only certain, and it hasn't quite reached Australia yet. Okay, and this is basically what happens in that little town. Okay, and like I said, Gregory Peck plays commander, whose wife and kids, of course, were back in the States, and of course they were dead, of course. And Ava Gardner plays a local resident who's an older lady who basically because Gregory Peck gets invited in by the Australians to and stay. He stays with Anthony Perkins, who plays Lieutenant Peter Holmes, and he's like assigned to the American ship to stay with them because they're hitting some kind of a distress code off of San Francisco, and they want him to go with the American nuclear ship to see what it is and see if there's any sustainable life left anywhere. Okay, so they basically send them out to investigate. But in the meantime, he has to stay with Lieutenant Holmes. He invites him into his home to stay there temporarily, and they kind of set him up with Ava Gardner's character, who plays Maura Davidson. Like I said, she's an older lady who likes her drinks. He likes to party. Okay, and like I said, Gregory Peck is a Navy man. He has the wife and the two kids who back in the States who basically who died because of the nuclear war. And basically, they start to get to know each other. And of course, Fred Astaire, he's the scientist who's kind of a cynic. He plays Julian, the scientific expert that they take on the ship with them, and he's kind of a cynic. And he has his one ambition to race this race in the big. They have a big race, and that's his one ambition to race in that race. Okay, and like I say, Anthony Perkins is Lieutenant Holmes. He just had a baby with his wife, Mary, and of course she's a nervous mother, and of course she's worried about the fallout with the war and stuff, what everything's going to happen, and what's going to become of her family and stuff. And Anthony, Perkins, Lieutenant Holmes is constantly trying to reassure her, and this is a really good drama about like I said, the rest of the world has experienced this nuclear war and the fallout, and there's nobody there. But they get this distress signal that they're getting from San Francisco. They basically send the U.S. Sawfish and Gregory Peck and Anthony Perkins and Fred Astaire out to investigate it. But it's more like a drama about what the fallout of what people do in the event that basically World War III has started and people have launched nukes. And it's a really powerful film, good drama, romance, and it's just a really solid film, a solid cast. And I really, really enjoyed this movie. I saw it one time before, a long time ago, so when I had a chance to buy it, I jumped all over this. And the picture quality is great in this, and I absolutely love this film. Okay, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I didn't realize until I was looking this up on International Movie that they remade it with Amar Asante and Rachel Ward. I'm sorry, Amar Asante. I just can't see him playing the part of Gregory Peck in this movie. But I thought him and Ava Green had great chemistry in this movie. Like I said, she's this kind of an alcoholic party girl, and they kind of hook him up with just to have him somebody to so Anthony Perkins and his wife doesn't have to, entertain him, and they kind of form this relationship, and it's really quite sweet. And I really, really like this movie. Again, it was produced and directed by Stanley Kramer, and it's fantastic. I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable. Okay, now the next movie is a Western. I love Westerns, and I love John Wayne. Okay, and this is a movie that I saw a while ago, and it's good to revisit it again. And this is Big Jake. Came out in 1971. It stars John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, Patrick Wayne, Richard Boone, Christopher Mitchum, Bruce Cabot, Bobby Vinton, Glenn Corbett, Maureen O'Hara, said already, Jim Davis. And it's basically the story of Big Jake. That's John Wayne. Basically, he's the man who's Jacob McCandless. He's the man who's basically left his wife. He hasn't seen his wife in like over 10 years. Okay, and in the beginning of the movie, you have this group of outlaws led by Richard Boone. They basically ride up to the ranch, and they basically kidnap Jacob's grandson, who he's never seen before, and shot his son, and killed a bunch of ranch hands and stuff. And basically they give the wife, Maureen O'Hara's character, they give her Martha, they give her a map and say, here, you want your see your grandson again, you gotta give us $1 million in cash and have it delivered to Mexico to this location. Okay, so of course she calls the local sheriff in, and they're debating on how to best handle this, and of course the Texas Rangers, they want to go out, and they said we'll go out, and this takes place in the 1908. So this car is it? I think, is it 1908? I think it's supposed to be right after they mention the car. So there's cars around, actually early cars. I don't know if that was 1908. I don't know if cars were invented that early. But anyway, this car is around, and so she's debating on whether to send, pay the ransom or send in these Texas Rangers to rescue him. And then she says this kind of thing calls for a mean type of man, and so she sends one of her ranch hands out to find Big Jacob McCandless, who's like I said, that's his grandson who's been kidnapped, who he hasn't seen because he hasn't been home for the past 10 years. And like I said, his son got shot. His son Jeff got shot. Okay, and basically when he comes back home, Martha explains the situation to him and tell him, see if you can, get your grandson back. And he said, okay, I'll do this. And at the same time, she lets the marshal go off because they seem to see that they can get ahead with their cars. They can get ahead of the horses and maybe ambush, the kidnappers and rescue the grandson. And at the same time, John Wayne's going off with, Jacob's going off with his, he calls one of his Indian scouts, old-time friend, and he's going to, with his dog that he has, and they're going to go off with the money and see if they can, take the map that the kidnapper threw and see if they can, go into Mexico and rescue the grandson. Okay, and also so the Texas Rangers will go out. They actually get ambushed, and also with those Texas Rangers are two of Jacob's sons, James and Michael, played by Patrick Wayne and Christopher Mitchum. Okay, and they have a kind of a rocky reunion with their father, who they haven't seen in 10 years. Okay, they survived the ambush, and then they joined their father, on his plan to rescue, the grandson. And this is a nice, fun Western. It has a nice mix of comedy, and it's very bloody too as well. A lot of people get shot and killed in this movie, but it's fun, and a lot of humor in this mixed in with this, and a lot of John Wayne arguing with his sons and slugging his sons and slugging other people, and a lot of blood, a lot of bloodshed. A lot of people get killed in this movie. So, but it has a nice sense of humor, a nice rhythm, and a nice pace to it. And John Wayne is John Wayne in this, and he's Big Jake, who everybody thinks is dead, but he's not dead. Okay, and I love his loyal dog that he has with him. All he has to do is say dog, and the dog does whatever he wants. Okay, anyway, this is a nice, fun Western, and like I said, it has John Wayne's real-life sons in this. Patrick Wayne plays, his older son, and then I think his youngest son, Ethan Wayne, plays the grandson in this movie. Okay, and it's a fun movie. Christopher Mitchum plays his other son, and I think Bobby Vinton, the singer, plays his other son who got shot in the beginning of the movie. Okay, but it's a nice, fun movie, a nice, good western, and it's just a fun movie to watch and enjoy. And I definitely recommend this. You know, so John Wayne western. I'm gonna be biased because I love westerns and I love John Wayne. So I'm gonna give Big Jake a 7 out of 10. It's just a really enjoyable film, and Richard Boone, who plays the bad guy in this, is really good as well. Okay, and I like his conversation scenes with John Wayne. They're really intense and funny. Okay, so 7 out of 10 for Big Jake. On the Beach, Gregory Peck, Ava Gardner, Fred Astaire, and Anthony Perkins, an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film about the fallout after a nuclear war has started. Okay, and the people, and it shows the people's lives after that. And I really enjoyed this film. Okay, 8 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. So 8 out of 10 for this. 7 out of 10 for Big Jake. I definitely recommend both these films. Anyway, let me know if you've seen these two films. What do you think of them? Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trepacer saying so long and take care.
There are no strings on me.